A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte Euro 1884 is one of Georges Seurat's most famous works, and is an example of pointillism. Overview: Georges Seurat spent over 2 years painting A Sunday Afternoon, focusing meticulously on the landscape of the park. He reworked the original as well as completed numerous preliminary drawings and oil sketches. He sat in the park, creating numerous sketches of the various figures in order to perfect their form. He concentrated on the issues of color, light, and form. The painting is approximately 2 by 3 meters in size. Motivated by study in optical and color theory, Seurat contrasted miniature dots or small brushstrokes of colors that when unified optically in the human eye were perceived as a single shade or hue. He believed that this form of painting, called divisionism at the time but now known as pointillism, would make the colors more brilliant and powerful than standard brushstrokes. The use of dots of almost uniform size came in the second year of his work on the painting, 1885 Euro 86. To make the experience of the painting even more vivid, he surrounded it with a frame of painted dots, which in turn he enclosed with a pure white, wooden frame, which is how the painting is exhibited today at the Art Institute of Chicago. In creating the picture, Seurat employed the then new pigment zinc yellow, most visibly for yellow highlights on the lawn in the painting, but also in mixtures with orange and blue pigments. In the century and more since the painting's completion, the zinc yellow has darkened to brown a color degeneration that was already showing in the painting in Seurat's lifetime. The island of La Grande Jatte is located at the very gates of Paris, lying in the Seine between Neuilly and Levallois-Perret, a short distance from where currently stands La Dar Copyright Fence Business District. Although for many years it was an industrial site, it is today the site of a public garden and a housing development. When Seurat began the painting in 1884, the island was a bucolic retreat far from the urban center. The painting was first exhibited in 1886, dominating the second salon of the Socia Copyright Copyright des Artistes in de Copyright Pendants, of which Seurat had been a founder in 1884. Interpretation: Seurat's painting was a mirror of bathers at Asnières, completed shortly before in 1884. While the bathers are doused in light, almost every figure on La Grande Jatte appears to be cast in shadow either under trees or an umbrella, or from another person. Some of the characters are doing curious things. The lady on the right-hand side is a monkey on a leash. A lady on the left near the river bank is fishing. The area was known at the time as being a place to procure prostitutes among the bourgeoisie, a likely illusion of the otherwise odd fishing rod. In the painting's center stands a little girl dressed in white, who stares directly at the viewer of the painting. This may be interpreted as someone who is silently questioning the audience, what will become of these people, and their class. Seurat paints their prospects bleakly, cloaked as they are in shadow and suspicion of sin. The border of the painting is, unusually, in inverted color, as if the world around them is also slowly inverting from the way of life they have known. Seen in this context, the boy who bathes on the other side of the river bank at Asnières appears to be calling out to them, as if to say we are the future, come and join us. Acquisition by the Art Institute of Chicago. In 1923, Frederick Bartlett was appointed trustee of the Art Institute of Chicago. He and second wife, Helen Birch Bartlett, loaned their collection of French post-impressionist and modernist art to the museum. It was Mrs. Bartlett who had an interest in French and avant-garde artists and influenced her husband's collecting tastes. Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte was purchased on the advice of the Art Institute of Chicago's curatorial staff in 1924. In conceptual artist Don Solender's 1974 Euro 5 book Observation and Scholarship Examination for Art Historians, Museum Directors, Artists, Dealers and Collectors, it is claimed that the Institute paid $24,000 for the work. In 1958 the painting was loaned out for the only time to the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. On April 15, 1958, a fire there, which killed one person on the second floor of the museum, forced the evacuation of the painting which was on a floor above the fire in the Whitney Museum which adjoined MoMA at the time. In popular culture, the January 1974 Playboy magazine featured Nancy Cameron, Its Playmate of the Month, on its cover superimposed on the painting in similar style. The painting was the basis for the 1984 Broadway musical Sunday in the Park with George by Stephen Sondheim and James Lapine. Subsequently, the painting is sometimes referred to by the misnomer Sunday in the Park. The painting is prominently featured in the 1986 comedy film Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This use is parodied, among others, in Looney Tunes, Back in Action and an episode of Family Guy. At the Old Deaf School Park in Columbus, Ohio, sculptor James T. Mason recreated the painting in topiary form. The installation was completed in 1989. The painting was the inspiration for the commemorative poster printed for the 1993 Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix, with racing cars and the Detroit skyline added. In 2011, the cast of the U.S. version of The Office recreated the painting for a poster to promote the show's 7th season finale. Related works by Seurat. See also, La copyright on Portail, references. External links, Seurat and the making of La Grande Jatte, La Grande Jatte Euro inspiration, analysis and critical reception. About this artwork, Art Institute of Chicago, Georges Seurat, 1859 Euro 1891. MoMA exhibition catalogue.